Listen to the rumble. Listen to the roar. Slowly in 3. They'll be flying off 4. Watch them now.
So how I want to do this with you guys is it's going to have to be chronological because you guys have done so much, and it goes back to when I first met you guys. You guys were born in Indiana, Shelbyville, or closer. Where the hell?
It's called Greensburg. It's like 30 minutes from Shelbyville.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I knew Shelbyville from Shelbyville Plating and Joe Baird.
Yeah, that's where
my dad worked in Shelbyville, and we worked at Joe Baird's one summer. And but if you're going on 74 towards Shelbyville, the first exit before Shelbyville would be Greensburg.
Okay, cool. Yeah, okay, very good. I've seen that exit.
Yeah.
There's a good gas station there.
Harrison, Batesville, Greensburg.
Yep.
Petro, truck stop.
So tell these guys who you are and give your Instagram and all your artwork and your names and all that.
Cool. So I'm David Root, and Instagram is Root Brothers. Grew up in southern Indiana and moved up here to Detroit to go to school at CCS, and did a couple things. Did an internship at Hot Wheels in California, and then ended up getting a job at Ford Motor Company, and I'm an exterior designer at Ford Motor Company.
Well, yeah. Heck yeah, we're going to get to that.
Yeah. A lot of stuff in between. You know?
Heck yeah.
Yep. So similar story. I'm Ryan Root. I'm his twin brother.
I was going to say, you guys are twins, aren't you?
Oh yeah, identical.
Yeah, I always thought so. Oh yeah, I always thought so. Like first time I met you guys were like 8 or 9 maybe.
I think we met you when I was 10 or 11.
Yeah, you guys were little bitty.
10 or 11. Lawrenceburg Speedway. I still remember.
I'll show you a picture, Josh. I know you can't see it on the radio,
nice. Nice. Yeah, that's a picture of, we have 2 Shaw specials at Williams Grove. Oh, damn, that's you sitting in the car.
Yeah,
Both of you guys, nice.
We made that Cromwell for Jerry Walker, and that was probably, wasn't the first time I met you, but it was one of the first times.
This would have been 05, 06. Maybe 06 or 07 even.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I didn't have my driver's license. I know we were younger than 16.
It would have been 05, yeah.
Okay, cool.
05, yeah.
Very good. That's awesome. How old are you guys now?
27.
27. Damn, I'm getting old. So when I met you guys were into sprint cars and old sprint cars and all the right shit. And then you guys were phenomenal artists. I mean, you guys were 10, 11, 12 years old, and you guys were pinstriping and lettering stuff, like your own stuff, and doing pretty damn good. And good enough to notice, like, damn, these kids are good. And we used to have what's called the Pinstripers Jamboree at the car shows, where, in like Detroit they still do it, but Cincinnati had the panel jam, and Dauber ran it, and it was where all the pinstripers would get together, and we would paint panels, and we'd auction them off for charity. And I was involved in that. I would always do panels. I tried to do them before I got down there because I wasn't wild about painting at the show.
Yeah.
But I remember you guys getting involved in that, and then I remember thinking at the time, like, yeah, these kids are really cool, and I'll try to show them a few things and, you know, treat them right. And you guys didn't need to show anything. You guys were doing fine on your own.
Yeah.
But I remember I wasn't the only one that kind of saw you guys doing good and tried to help out with, like, Dauber. I mean, everyone was really cool to you guys.
Oh, yeah. I can't think of a person that wasn't cool to us.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's when you see young guys that are not only into traditional hot rods and race cars and lettering, but doing the old style. Where'd that come from?
I think it all started with when we were growing up. Well, it started with open wheel racing with my dad. So my dad was an engineer during the day, and then at night he had a business where he would do custom paint work. And growing up, he was painting race cars for Number 9 Racing, who was huge in the
Beast. Beast cars, yeah. Bob East.
Yeah.
Stewart drove for him. Everyone drove for him.
Stewart, J.J. Yaley, Casey King.
Yeah,
everybody.
geez.
Stan Fox was the first. But
I've got a 9 tail tank hanging out there in the shop
I know
with
you
future
do.
winds.
I
wonder if
don't
your dad
know.
painted that.
We were just talking on the way here. I don't know.
Oh, we got to go look at that.
What year was it, you know?
No, it's a Stewart tail tank.
Yeah.
And it's got like 30 feature wind stickers on it, and I bet the date's on it.
There you go.
We'll look when we get done. We got to go out there and look at that.
I just called my dad on the way over here, and I asked him about it. He said he painted cars for Steve Lewis for 11 years, and 10 of those 11 years, they won the championship.
Okay. When you see this thing, it's got to be on the championship car.
Nice.
It has feature win stickers like all the way down it, 3 rows of them.
Love it.
Yeah, it's killer.
Man.
And it's pearl white. It's beautiful.
That's cool. He's got the cool tail tanks, but I think you have the coolest one.
I got it down at Dad's house. We got a couple others. So your dad was into the old stuff, or into just sprint car racing in general.
Yeah, open wheel racing, and then custom paint work on hot rods. Back then, it was flame jobs on all kinds of stuff. So.
Did he have hot rods and stuff?
Yeah, he's got a 37 Chevy. He had that. He's had that as long as we've been around.
And he bought it the year we were born in '93.
Yep.
Really?
And now he's got a bunch of old sprint cars. He's got a bunch of early '70s stuff.
Yeah, he's got a bunch of good collection now. I remember your dad being into old stuff and traditional stuff, and like spoke fluent hot rod. And then now you guys in school, when you guys were growing up in school, you guys were obviously going to sprint car races. What's your earliest memories with sprint car racing?
Masking and painting tail tanks for the number 9. I remember when we were kids, like typically your chores were like taking out the trash. Ours was wet sand tail tanks or mask off the back sides of panels. And
that's awesome.
That and TQs. I think you'd race TQs for a little bit.
Yeah.
Those were huge in Rushville, Greensburg, that area down there.
Yeah, that's where the Nationals are at.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys were right in the mecca of that.
Yeah, TQs were huge when we were growing up.
My dad was painting,
TQs.
when Stewart ran TQs, he painted Stewart's cars for, the guy's name was Larry Dwinger. Who,
Okay.
I think owned or built the cars.
Yeah.
That's excellent. Nice.
Yeah, well, we grew up like open wheel racing. There's a cool story. My dad had a slot car track in his basement. And every Saturday night, the local racers would come over in the winter because there's nothing going on and they race slot cars. Well, Stewart was a regular. So there was one night Stewart came over and he had a microphone and he was acting like he was commentating the race. My mom had a VHS camera and taped him. We had this tape of him growing up, and then one night my mom taped over it with a basketball game. But,
Man, that happens. Trust me, I know. We've got go-kart racing tapes that are like that. You'll be watching a go-kart race and like halfway through it, The Price is Right will like pop up or something crazy. Yeah, that's part of it. That's cool though. That's very cool. What year did you guys graduate high school?
2012.
Okay. And what were your cars? You guys had to have some good first cars.
Well, I bought my first car was an 82 El Camino from your brother-in-law.
Oh, from Chuck.
Chuck, yes.
I remember that now.
And I still have it.
That's a good car.
Oh, yeah.
Damn. Nice. That's awesome. What color was that? What did you do to it?
It was it was brown and copper when I
was
got
gonna say
it.
It was like a gold or copper or something like that. I
Yeah.
remember it. That
So
was a clean car, like super rust-free.
It was not. He
wasn't
put a Buick Dash in it, but I took it and got rid of the brown paint and painted it candy apple red with silver, had gold leaf on it. Did rally stripes on it, but they were lace. I did the old
nice.
60s lace. I was the only kid in my high school to have lace on my car.
That's
well, I
it.
think we were big into painting fuel cars and funny cars, and we were doing lace and the freak dots and the scallops. So when you painted your El Camino, we were kind of in that mindset of painting funny cars and stuff. So you did a little bit of a funny car paint job on your El Camino.
That's cool. What were you driving?
I had a 1965 Dodge Dart,
Nice.
and I really wanted a gasser, and it's a lot of work to put a straight axle on a car. So I found this Dart, and it had a torsion bar suspension. All I had to do was crank up the torsion bars, and you had the gasser look.
That's perfect.
So I had a Dart, and then pulled the engine. I had a 273, rebuilt the 273, and put that back in there. And it was kind of a gasser style car. We called it Poison Dart. It had Poison Dart.
That's excellent. That's so cool. Very good.
And
Where'd
then-
that go?
Still have that.
Good.
Still have that. And then another cool one we had was an old lady down the road had a 1969 Dodge Coronet station wagon, puke green with wood paneling. And it was a one-owner car. She owned it her entire life. And we went and stopped in there one day and we're like, hey, we'd love to buy your car. And she's like, what are you guys going to do with it? And we're like, well, we're into cars and we're going to like take care of it and stuff. And we're going to drive it. And she goes, okay, everyone else that comes by wants to use it for a demolition derby car. So
Oh, jeez.
if you guys take care of it. So we did that, and then we put a push bumper on the front of it and took it down to Bowling Green. We're pushing off dragsters.
I've
and
seen
stuff
that. You guys
for the
got a set of slicks
capital
on the top of it.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff. It looks good.
Slicks, yeah.
That looks
Yeah.
good.
Still
That's
have
good that
it.
you guys kept. It's good you guys kept your first cars because that was my main reason I never got rid of my sedan. Was growing up, I heard all my dad's buddies, all they would ever talk about was their first hot rod and how they wish they had it back. That's such a common thing, and I'm just because of that I never would sell the sedan. So that's good you guys got your first cars. You know, they might not be right. You know, when you got it, and even today it might not be your first choice, but you'll be happy you had that. That's cool. When you guys got out of high school, you guys were doing really good with artwork, and I remember you guys putting together your portfolios and like working on portfolios and trying to get you know, like we all did. I was the same way. I had to get a portfolio together, trying to get scholarships, trying to decide which art school to go to, going to a bunch of art schools and seeing a bunch of fine art stuff that didn't interest me at all. You know, I mean, I remember going to art colleges and thinking, does anyone here know how to actually draw? And then going to other art schools and seeing really, really good artists and thinking, God damn, do I even know how to draw? But tell me about some of the places you guys looked at and how you decided on where you went.
Well, there's two basically for us that we looked at. We looked at the Art Center in California as a big design school, and then CCS. And CCS was a lot closer and a lot cheaper, so that's where we decided to go.
Good. You guys might be stuck out in California right now if it weren't for that.
He tried it for a summer. He came back.
Did you?
It gets pricey.
Yeah. Yep. Now, did you know right away you were wanting to design cars, or did you not just want to get into artwork in cars?
Yeah, I wanted to be Chip Foose for as long as I can remember.
So did I. That's fine. Yeah, same here, man. Yeah.
Chip Foose was huge. I know, like, that's when we were looking at schools. We know Chip Foose went to Art Center, and kind of Art Center led us to CCS, and that's how we kind of ended up at CCS. Was we wanted to design hot rods.
How much computer work were you doing when you left high school?
None.
Really?
None. Yeah.
Wow. So it was all hand stuff at that point.
Everything was hand. Yeah. Even in like the first 2 years of college, it was all by hand.
Really? So you guys were in college during the switch, basically. I mean,
it's yeah.
I think in college, like, they teach you the fundamentals first, and then once you got the fundamentals down, then you go to doing like, Photoshop and digital stuff.
That's the way it should be.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I mean, I still use it. I still draw with my hand. Whenever I start any design, it's always on a napkin or a blank piece of paper. You never just go straight into Photoshop.
Cool. Good.
Good. At least that's my process.
Yeah, it gets really stiff if you go straight to the digital stuff, and you can see that in a lot of designs.
I see it. That's why I was asking you guys that.
Yeah,
we see it. Dad and I see it in the lettering side of things with wraps.
Oh.
I can tell a guy that knows how to letter a race car, and I can tell a guy that knows how to operate a computer just by looking at the job.
Oh yeah.
Like, you know, I can tell, like, it might be the wrap might be completely computer generated, but I can tell the guy understands race car lettering. Or I can look at a wrap and be like, God damn, that guy knows how to operate the program, but he's never drawn anything in his life. And I see that with car design, with you, you know, with the world you guys are in. That's why that's good to hear you guys start with hand-drawn stuff.
Oh yeah.
It has to make a difference. What's the process you guys are using right now, your favorite?
So, me personally, everyone has a little bit different take, but me personally, it's literally starting with like little tiny thumbnail doodles, and I'll do hundreds of them, and then you kind of put them away far on the wall, and you like look back, and I kind of like this one, so you take that one, and then you blow it up a little bit, and once you get one that you really like, and you get a nice pen sketch down, then you can put it into Photoshop, and you start doing like the renderings, and you try to just do a rendering that'll sell, so you add a lot of color and a lot of cool VizCom. And then you go from the sketch, and then once your director or whatever picks a sketch, then you can go into like the 3D modeling, and you go from 3D model, and then eventually you mill it onto a clay, and away you go.
3D is where it really takes off, though, because it goes from being 2-dimensional to 3-dimensional, and you can really see the shape and the form of it better that way. And
Do you run into problems when you go to 3D that were possible to do in 2D, and then you're like, shit, this doesn't work in 3D?
Oh, for sure, man.
Yeah.
That's what always happened with the hot rod concept drawings. When us dinosaurs would do hand drawn stuff, when we would draw cars, builders would like my drawings because I built real cars.
Oh, yeah.
I would draw stuff that could actually be built in real life, to where certain other artists would draw a really wild car, and if you built it like that in real life, the tires would be hitting the fenders and the doors won't open and all that. It looks cool, but it doesn't work in real life.
Heck yeah.
And that's got to be what you guys deal with every day, because you're designing everything you guys are designing. It's going to get built.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Potentially, yeah. And we've been told that a lot by all of our professors and our bosses, that the hot rod stuff we do on the side benefits our day job as design, because we do understand how a car goes together, how things are in 3D, and how to make something.
That's yeah, I like hearing that. Well, let's back up to where you guys go to college and give me the whole long story on going through school, what you guys liked, and how you got the direction you went to, and then I want the whole story of you guys getting hired, because that's a cool, everything about your guys' jobs are cool. So
we graduated high school in 2012, went to CCS. We were really lucky because CCS has a very diverse program. It's not just for car people. If you want to do motorcycles, if you want to do airplanes or trains or something like that, there's options for you there. And our professors were very helpful in letting us, they saw that we wanted to do something unique with hot rods, and they'd let us do it.
They were open-minded. Yeah.
They were super open-minded. We had some really good ones.
Yeah.
So throughout the college, we did some of the more, I guess, like concept car kind of stuff, but we also did hot rod projects too.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. And our senior thesis was a hot rod project. We did this little car called the Spirit of Detroit.
Yes, that thing turned out bitchin'.
We built a third scale model of it. It was a 27T with a hand formed sheet metal front end on it. And
real quick, how did it work that you guys could work on the same project? Were you guys actually able to team up? Or
every year there's a sponsored studio, and they would be sponsored by Ford, or I did one with Ferrari once, and that would be your main course in your curriculum. But the hot rod thing we did, that was our senior year, and we were like, okay, we're seniors, we really want to do a hot rod just on our own. So that was on our own time.
Okay.
Yeah, we were already like a full class load, and we decided we were going to do this hot rod on our own, just because it's something we wanted to do.
Okay, because it's cool that you guys got to go to school together
to
begin with, but at some point you each got to earn your own grade. So okay, the Spirit of Detroit car.
Yeah,
yep.
I think the concept behind that thing was, what if Henry Ford was to have built a car that competed with the Auto Union and the Mercedes
Silver Arrow
cars, yeah,
like pre-World War II. So we kind of designed this in that time period. If there was a cutting edge Ford, and we designed it to have independent suspension on it.
We did a lot of research on the Miller Ford cars because they were the hot race cars, and then it was connection with Ford too. And then we got connected with the Paquette plant in Detroit. Have you been there?
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
So we got hooked up with that. And usually with the sponsor studio, you have someone to critique your work, and we're like, well, who's better to critique our work than the Paquette plant? So they brought their whole board of directors out to CCS, and we put on this whole presentation for them and presented the work. It was really cool.
That's awesome.
A couple of our professors came, and everybody was super supportive. It was way different than the stuff people were doing at CCS, because nobody was doing a 1930s race car.
Yeah. That's really cool.
It was super
Damn,
cool.
it's awesome. Now that you took that, the model you built was like 3 feet long, 4 feet long. It was a pretty big model.
Third scale, about 3 feet long. Yeah,
I mean, it looked like the coolest quarter midget I'd ever seen.
So yeah,
and you took that on tour to shows, to indoor shows, like hot rod shows.
Yeah. We took that to Cincinnati, and then you gave us a little booth down there, and then we took it to the Autorama in Detroit, and that's kind of, we had our display down there, and that's kind of how I got hooked up with Ford. Is we were literally in there on setup night, and we were setting up our booth, and a couple guys came walking by, and we had, like, my portfolio, there were some sketches, and we also had a big Cintiq drafting table, and it was made out of an antique drafting table, and then a guy named Kirk Duquette in Cincinnati took, like, and built these drafting tables with a TV screen and Cintiq, and it was crazy. So we had it, and I was sketching cars, and then some guy just comes up over my shoulder and goes, "Hey man, nice work," and I'm like, "Oh, thanks." So I talked to him for a little bit, and turns out it was Craig Metros, who was design director of North America for Ford Motor Company.
That's pretty stout.
Yeah, that was kind of...
Did you know that at the time?
No, I didn't. And he walked away, and another guy walked up and was like, "Hey, did you recognize that guy?" And I'm like, "No, not sorry." He goes, "Well, if you want a job, then you should probably go talk to him, because that was kind of the head honcho at Ford Motor Company."
Damn, that's cool. Now, were you able to catch up with him that weekend, or?
So yeah, later on that weekend, I went up and talked to him, and I was like, "Hey, man, I'm sorry I didn't get your name and stuff."
Good, good, and that got you in the door.
Oh yeah,
Get your foot in the door.
Yeah.
Very good. And where did you end up at?
So I'm currently at Roush, but I've been a few different places. Out of college, I did my internship at Rad Rides by Troy.
Nice. Yep.
And I spent a summer there, and then I came back and finished my school, and then I got a job at Roush through a guy named Mark Trossel. You're probably familiar with his son, is Mark Trossel Jr. He's the head of SRT.
Yep.
But his dad is a real deal hot rodder.
Nice.
And he's done a lot of, he owned a hot rod company called American Speed Company. They built a Speed 33, and then he also did a Dearborn Deuce.
Yeah, yeah.
So
that's cool. Nice.
Yeah,
that was a cool story how we got hooked up with him too. Was we went to the open house, right?
Yeah. When we were in college, he had his hot rod shop, American Speed, and we just walked in there. We had our portfolios with us, and I planned to show it to him. And we walk up to this guy that looked like he was in charge, and I said, "Are you Mark Trossel?" And he says, "Well, yes, I am." And I says, "Can you look at my portfolio? Do you have a second?" And he was super nice, and he says, "Oh, absolutely, let's do it right now." And he opened it up and looked at it, and he was really into it. And we get done, and he says, "Guys, this is really nice stuff, but you probably want to talk to my dad. I'm Mark Trossel Jr."
Yeah, cool. That got you in there. That's what it takes.
So yeah,
you just got to go. I tell guys that you know, they get down of how do I get my foot in the door? How do I meet anyone? It's never going to happen. And I tell them two things. One, it will happen. Shit just happens. It's if it's meant to be, it'll happen. And two, get aggressive. Talk to people. Say hi. Make an ass of yourself. Doesn't matter.
Sure.
It all works out. One thing I've been really impressed with now that I've moved up here to Detroit is how many of the big wigs, higher ups, designers, engineers, all that at the big three are hot rodders, like traditional hot rodders.
Oh yeah.
Like we'll go to a cruise night and there'll be a killer, like traditional Deuce Roadster, early flathead, just killer car that I hadn't seen. And I'll ask, Corey, like, who's that? And he's like, oh, that's the, head of engineering at Dodge. And it's like, for real? And that's what they, and not the car I would expect those guys to be driving. Have you guys run into that?
Oh, heck yeah. Hot Rod runs super deep at Ford. So my boss, Craig Metros, huge into hot rods. He has a Model A coupe that he's had for, I don't know, it's got to be 10, 15 years. He's taken it out to Trog. And then the guy above him, Maury Callum, who's the vice president of global design, he's got a 32-3 window that had a Hemi in it. And then they had the Hemi taken out, and he also took it out to Trog, put a flathead in it. And then recently, the coolest thing is we got a new CEO, Jim Farley. And I'm super excited with that because he competed for the Amber in 2013.
Really?
Had a hot rod built on the East Coast by a company called East Coast Customs. Guy named Dave Samard built it, and it was a really traditional 32 IndyCar theme. It had real deal Halibrand Indy Roadster wheels on it before they started reproducing them.
Yeah.
And it had a real cool IndyCar theme, and he competed for the Amber. So it's cool that our CEO of Ford Motor Company competed for the Amber.
I didn't know that about Farley. I knew who he was, and know his Farley is the same as Chris Farley. I know it's the same family. He's like a cousin. Yeah. But I didn't know he was a hot rodder on that level. That's excellent.
Race car driver too.
Vintage racing. Yeah, he's big into all the vintage racing
That's
stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
The only reason I know his name is Corolla. Adam Corolla was talking about him.
Okay.
And he was at a vintage race and was talking to Farley, and and when he said that, I Googled him like, oh, this guy's into vintage racing. That's cool, but I didn't know he was into the hot rod side of things. Damn, that's good.
If he's
that's good. That's good.
It's good for the future of.
That's exactly what I mean. It's good
right?
And look at all the cool stuff that has come out with. They came out with the Bronco, and now that he's in charge, it could be anything.
Yeah, I know.
Real deal car guys in charge of car companies. So I'm super excited.
That's great. That's great. That's good to hear because I know. I mean, they're all going towards autonomous vehicles, and everything's got to be electric. And I get that. I get that side of things. And yes, there's a market for it. Mm-hmm. But there's also a market for horsepower. There's always going to be. And the fact that there's car guys at the top. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. Now, how's Roush doing? Are they? I mean, they're doing well, but I'm saying, are they?
Oh yeah, they're super diverse. You know,
Okay.
there's a lot to Roush that people don't usually know. We do everything from Roush performance stuff to aerospace. Jack Roush is big into old airplanes.
Oh yeah, he's got is it P-51?
He's got a few P-51s.
Yeah.
Yep. And they rebuild the Merlin engines. So Roush is the only shop in the country that's certified to work on a Merlin engine.
Really?
Yep.
That's cool.
So.
He's wrecked a couple of planes too, right?
Yeah.
That's lived to tell it.
I wouldn't fly with him, but yeah.
That's why does he keep him at Willow Run?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yep.
Jenny did a photo shoot at Willow Run, and one of the planes was Roush's.
Okay.
He wasn't there, but the plane was there, and man, that's cool. That's awesome. What the Ford GT I ran for Doran had a Roush Yates engine in it.
Okay.
And you guys know as well as anyone, I'm a Chevy guy to heart, but that thing ran damn good.
Okay.
Now, speaking of Fords with Chevy powered, tell us about your hot rod.
Oh yeah.
You guys just built a killer hot rod and
Yeah, working on it.
duty rated it.
Duty rated for sure. We're gonna do it again.
Yeah. So we built it, finished it up last fall, just in bare metal, because we wanted to drive it out to the Hot Rod Hill Climb in Colorado.
Is it a 29, 30?
It's a 29.
29?
Yep.
29, 32 chassis, small block Chevy, 3D3 stroker,
Nice.
T5 trans, and Ford 9-inch.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we built it. We put maybe 500 miles on it. Drove it to Cincinnati and back a couple times. Mike Whitney helped us tune it up. And then we took off, went out to Colorado. Never really had any problems. Had a float stick on a carburetor. That was really it.
How how many miles did you put on it?
3,000.
3,000 miles on
3,000 mile round trip, yeah. With six
deuces.
deuces.
it. Really? All of them hooked
That
up?
was kind of the thing.
Except for the one that the float stuck on.
Damn, no shit.
We were kind of worried going out there. It's not really the ideal carb setup, especially going out in Colorado with the altitude.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty worried about driving across country with 6 deuces, but
Did you guys take jets with you and rebuild kits and
brought jets.
whole carbs?
Yeah.
Might as well.
Yeah, we never really used any of it though.
No, ran great.
No
The
shit.
altitude, we went up to, I think it was 11,000 feet was the highest, and carbs ran just fine. And then even like stuff like the brakes, we thought we were going to have issues with the brakes going up and down those hills. We have early Ford brakes on it, and no problems at all with any of that stuff.
Well, it ran fine because it's Chevrolet powered. You realize that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So we did that, and then now we tore the car back apart, and we're going to paint it and finish it out nice this time. And we'd like to get it done for the spring to drive out to the Grand National Roadster Show now that it's in May.
Good. I was wondering that. I've got a aluminum Fronty block that you guys need to take to Pete Eastwood.
Oh,
So
cool. I'd love to see Pete, man.
He
I like
emailed
Pete.
me this week and said, "Do you still have a block for him?" And I said, "Yeah, it's here and it's got your name on it." And I'm sure I'll know someone coming out there for the roaster show, and I'll send it with them. So you guys just elected yourself.
We'll just toss David's luggage and put the motor in the back.
That's right. That's right. It's a bare block, so it's not bad. That's awesome. Now, what color are you guys gonna? What's the plan for it?
It's gonna be like a dark sage color green.
Cool.
Yeah, something a little bit different.
Dirty mag wheels.
Tell me about the wheels you guys are working on, or not? Is it a big secret?
No,
you guys posted them, didn't you?
Yeah.
You came and took a couple of my Holler brands 2 months ago to like use as for offset and like trying to figure out the sizes.
Yeah, just to kind of study.
To design your own wheels, right?
Yeah, so we were looking at we wanted some cool wheels. You gotta have cool wheels. It's such a big part of a hot rod. So we looked about getting those repopped Indy, the Holler brand Indy wheels, and they're pretty expensive. So I started talking to Corey Talbert, and Corey's like, "Man, if you guys are gonna do that, why don't you talk to Mike Curtis and see what it would cost to get a set machined, one-off set of wheels?" He had it done on his car, so got Mike Curtis's number, and it turns out it was cheaper to design and build one-off wheels than it was to buy those repop ones. So
now that's with you guys doing all the design work.
So yeah, I did.
For lack of a better term, CAD work, but what?
CAD work.
Okay,
Yeah, it's CAD work.
I didn't know if the terminology has changed yet.
There's all kinds of
What programs did you guys use? Because I saw the drawing; it was beautiful.
Alias.
Okay.
Alias, but SolidWorks, the same thing. Alias, SolidWorks. What else? CATIA, stuff like that.
Okay.
That's the part about being as full-time designers. We have access to all these awesome CAD
Yeah.
programs and cutting-edge technologies to
you guys are on the same platform Corey Talbert. Because Corey's hot rods are so badass because he can design, like, if he needs an engine mount, he can design a phenomenal engine mount in a 3D design and then have it casted, machined, or printed.
Yeah.
And the money in that stuff is the hours and hours of design work, the drawing work.
Yep.
It's just like me with my artwork.
Yep.
Like, I can do your t-shirt artwork, but the artwork's the expensive part.
Oh, for sure.
So you guys have the ability to draw the wheel. That's huge.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Probably, I don't know. It had to have been 80 hours in designing, designing in CAD. And then on the front side of that too, it's not just building in CAD. I did 40, 50 sketches of wheels until I found the right one. And it was such a simple design. It's an Indy Hallett brand wheel, but we wanted something super unique, something that...
How do you improve on perfection?
Yeah. Well, the coolest thing was something you said is, when the wheel's finished, I want to have it at a car show, and I want some old timer to come up and say, hey, you know what? I've seen that wheel. That's a really, really rare Hallett brand. But it's really just a one-off wheel that I designed.
That'll happen. That's gonna happen. It happens all the time. When you design something with that old look and old feel good enough, you'll get guys swear up and down they've seen it before, which is good. That's a compliment. That's a compliment. Now, the wheel you came up with, did you just kind of answered it? You just looked at other designs and improved on them?
So you gave me all those Hallett brands, which is interesting. We looked through all your Hallett brands, and we determined that there was probably not a matching set. Every single one was just a little bit different.
They are.
So that's kind of where I decided it's okay to go out and design your own Hallett brand, because there was no matching set of Hallett brands. Every set was just a tick different.
Yep. I've learned that. And I showed you guys that Indy Roadster Hallett brands are not all the same. They're not even close. Even the solid dish Hallett brands. If you have 3 of them laying there and you start really looking close at the webs and the name and the stampings and the offsets and even the bead lip, they're all different. They change that shit monthly. And I don't know why. Other than, I mean, with the Miller stuff, we get into the wood patterns change. The process changes. We'll send a pattern out and have a part cast. And it's real common for the foundry to call us and say, listen, the process has changed and we can no longer cast that part like that. We have to add a lip here. And you end up adding a lip there just so that it releases out of the mold better. Okay. That might have been what Haldebrand was dealing with. Just the simple fact of changing, because that's what happens is the windows change, the little lips and the edges change for no reason.
One year might be an Indy, 1 year might be an Audi.
Yeah. And it might have been as simple as just him changing it year to year, like Ford and Chevy do.
So you could tell if there's a defect in a casting.
Yeah, exactly. What are you guys working on now at your jobs that you're allowed to talk about? How far out do you guys work? 4 or 5 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty good.
So you guys working on 24, 23, 4, 5 stuff?
Yeah, so when I first hired in, my first project was the 2021 F-150, which was just released. So I've been there for about 4 years, so that's about the lifespan of how long it takes from... we started out on that truck, and it was just like a blank piece of paper, and then we just released it to the public just recently. So.
Take us through that process. How big a team of artists, how many guys are there, and do you guys just start throwing ideas at the wall?
Yeah, so that was super cool. I came fresh out of school and literally walked into the studio and gave me a blank piece of paper and said, all right, we're designing a brand new truck. So started off with little thumbnail sketches, like I was saying, and then did a couple Photoshops, and then those are the ones you pin up on the wall. And then
was there some real wild shit, like crazy out of the wall, or did they want you to stay close to what they had?
You start out pretty wild, and then when you get a sketch picked, you kind of got to tune it back. It's a lot easier to take a design and make it more feasible than take a design that's really feasible and then hey, you're not pushing it far enough, you got to push it farther.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
So got one of my sketches picked, which was really cool.
Wow.
Being a young guy, so took the sketch that got picked, and then we built a 3D model in CAD, and then you take that to a couple research events, have customers look at it, and customers really liked the theme that I did. So then that one got picked and got milled in full-scale clay, which was really cool for me.
Wow.
Fresh out of school and then seeing one of your sketches milled out full scale. It was cool.
Full size?
Full size.
Jeez.
Full size. And then that was a huge learning curve because I'd never had to tape a line down the side of a car and have it be dead straight.
Yeah.
Or tape it across the center of a car and have it be perfectly symmetrical, stuff like that. So a huge learning curve doing that. So followed that throughout. And there's probably 3 or 4 different themes. And along the process, the 3 or 4 different themes, every designer's got their own theme. And you eventually kind of Mr. Potato Head it into one.
Yeah. Somebody else's front end, somebody
Exactly.
else's tailgate, somebody else's mirrors, all that.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yep. So followed that along, and then finally came out with it in 2021. Design team was probably 6 or 7 designers, and then you got a whole team of guys doing CAD work, and then a whole team of clay modelers.
That's actually less than I thought. Okay, good. That's easier.
6 or 7 is a pretty.
Because if you
solid
end up with
number.
a room of like 20 or 30 designers, that's going to be hard to deal with.
No, 6 or well, when you have such 20, 30 year designers, you don't have ownership.
Yeah.
So you want your designers to have ownership, so you're like excited about it. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
This is
Four,
my body
yeah,
side.
5 or 6 guys can get shit done.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
That's cool. Man, that's neat. What do you guys working on trucks now, or did you
Oh,
change
so
gears?
so I finished F-150, worked on Raptor for just a little bit, and then I moved over to the autonomous side. So I'm working on autonomous stuff.
Is that
Which is
are they?
interesting.
Yeah. When I first moved up here, I had my shop, but I was looking for a day job because I didn't have a shop at home yet. So I needed, I got to have a real job. It'll drive me nuts if I don't have somewhere to get up and go in the morning. And I was looking at different places and talking to different guys, and I went and toured the Warren Design Center. There was a prototype shop there that I went through, and I can't think of the guy's name I talked to there, but he took me through the deal, and we talked, and he showed me the stuff they were doing there, and it was interesting. It was like they were chopping up brand new Suburbans and making like 6-door Suburbans and shit like that, like anything they could think of that they thought might work, and then they had a truck there that was like a brand new, at the time would be 2017. They had like a brand new 2017 truck there, and they were sticking this big, huge diesel engine that didn't belong, and they were like building it, and it was cool because they were building basically a hot rod, but they were doing this thing, and they were building basically trade show trucks, one-off trucks. That was interesting. I didn't want to do it, and then I also had an interview at Pratt and Miller, and went through their place, and that was real cool. Okay. And in fact, I was talking to them about going into the military side of things. And that interested me a bunch. Oh, yeah. And if that would have worked out, I would have done that. I wouldn't have been able to talk about or show anything I was working on, but it was damn interesting. But it was far out. It was working. It was far out. Years ahead of what I was working on. And I don't even remember where the hell I was going with that, but it was neat shit.
But no, those prototype shops. So we have the same shops at Ford, and it's cool watching them build the prototypes. Because you learn so much that you can bring into the hot rod side of things. And also the stuff I've learned from the hot rod side of things, I can translate to the prototype side of things. So when I see them doing something, I know what's going on.
Yeah, so, that's where I was going, the autonomous shit. Yeah. Is when I talked to everyone I talked to, all they wanted to talk about was autonomous. And because they knew it was coming and they were going to be focusing so much on it. Yeah. And it was to the point where I was almost thinking, you guys are focusing too much on this. Like they were tunnel vision on it. Like, you got to keep a wide view of everything that's going on in the world, not just that one thing. Oh, sure. But the biggest thing I've seen in the past, that the biggest downfall to electric vehicles in the past was, and I'm talking all through the 90s and early 2000s, was they look like electric vehicles. And that's terrible. They look like electric cars. Tesla figured it out. When he started building his cars, they don't look like electric cars. They look like a badass car you want to own, and oh, by the way, it's electric. Yeah. Is that the direction they're trying to go in?
Yeah, you definitely. I think you got to baby step it into it. If you design an electric car that looks too far out there, people are just automatically it's gonna be polarizing. It's not gonna be interesting. So you can see Teslas. It looks like they have a shape in the front of them which resembles a grill. So
yes, yeah.
That's a big thing on an electric car. Is like you don't have to have a grill anymore, but a lot of cars like our new Mach-E, which we just released, looks like it has a grill, even though there's not a grill there. But it's familiar to people.
Yes. So. As sad as it is, if you could offer a brand new, that new Ford truck you designed, if you could offer that the exact way it looks, but be electric and not know it, people would buy it. because they want a Ford truck.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Didn't they just release that? There were some photos online.
Someday.
I don't know.
Someday.
Rivian's doing one, but it's the same thing. It's not. It doesn't look like a tough truck, you know. So I think you gotta
focus on the performance aspect of it too, because an electric car, you know, there's a lot of performance there. They're really fast, really quick.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Pikes Peak showed us that.
Yeah.
That opened my eyes up when Volkswagen set the world record for Pikes Peak. What was it, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
With the all-wheel drive, electric
yes.
all-wheel drive. That opened my eyes up.
Yeah.
That was the ultimate proving ground of this is what could happen.
Yeah.
And I do like that side of it because we all like going fast.
Yeah. Well, I was listening to something today, and my design director Craig was talking about it. And usually, when you think of electric cars, you think of like efficient and green, but that doesn't have to be the case. Like those things rip.
Yeah.
All-wheel drive electric cars, they rip.
Yeah. That's excellent. That's very cool. Now, what are you guys working on at Roush?
So we took the 2021 F-150 that he designed at Ford, and we just Roushized it.
Oh shit! Nice.
Yep. So we're still
Now, do you guys
finishing
do that? Do you guys do that for dealerships or for private people?
Oh, it's dealerships. Yeah.
Okay, so you can go to dealership and buy a Roush truck.
Yep.
And you tell them all, hey, my brother designed this damn thing?
I just tell him I made it cooler than he did.
Your brother designed it and you made it fast and cool.
Yeah, there you
That's
go.
pretty good. What are you guys doing to them? Supercharged or turbocharged?
Yeah. So they sell them both ways. There's a supercharged version, and then you can get one without the supercharger that's got wheels, tires, lift kit.
Do they lower anything anymore?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
They have the world's fastest, because it's you can buy a dealer production truck. So they do a single cab F-150. They call it the Nightmare, and it's the world's fastest supposedly.
Really?
Yep.
When did that come out?
I've had it for a long time.
Okay, I don't follow new Ford. I don't follow any new Ford cars. New cars, period. Like I follow the new Corvettes because I didn't like them, so I saw them running around. Yeah, I like the performance side of it, but I want them. I'm an old-fashioned guy. I want them to look like Corvettes.
Yeah.
They look like a Corvette coming at me. That's about it. Tell me what you guys' future plans are for hot rodding. Other than, I know you're finishing up your Roadster, but what else are you guys building?
I don't know.
Man. We're going to try and put that Roadster together, and then I think this year is presenting a super unique opportunity with the Grandmaster Roadster Show being in May. So I think we're going to try and drive everything across the country, and then if it pans out, we might enter it for the Amber.
That'd be cool. Yeah, that'd be cool. Might as well.
Corey Talbert entered his, and I think anybody can enter.
Yes,
so
you can.
I think it's going to be pretty nice, so we'll see.
You get a good parking spot that way.
Heck yeah.
What, you guys built a badass mini chopper back in the day. Where's that at? Does Mullen still own it?
No, Mullins sold it to, Eddie Carlton?
Yeah.
Queen City.
Yeah, Ed's got it?
I believe Eddie's got it now.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome. I've got that mini bike chopper I built is the Kawasaki Gage ended up with.
Yeah.
It's back home. But then, remember I built a big, long chopper that had a Briggs on it? It was an actual full-size chopper, full-size motorcycle, and it was this crazy big, long front end. And then I put a Briggs on it, pretty stout Briggs, and rode it around. And then Mike Whitney had it and put it on nitro.
Of course.
And then, and then the last time I saw it, it was at Hilton's. Mike Hilton had it.
Okay.
Bobby's brother Mike had it down there in Laughlin. So tell us about that chopper you guys built, because that thing was killer.
We learned a lot doing it.
That was for the Pinstriper Panel Jam in Cincinnati. We built that and then auctioned it off for the charity was the Shriners that year, and
kind of the end all be all for the auction. Every year we would do something for the auction. I think the first year we started out, we did a guitar, and it raised like $1,000. And then the next years we had to one up it, so we did a bicycle, and the bicycle raised $2,000. And then we did that mini chopper, which was a custom built frame. Dave Hentz in Cincinnati helped us build the frame, and then the swing arm was off of a CB350, and then we used CB350 front and rear, wheels and tires. And put like an actual chopper gas tank on there and painted Queen City Hustler on the side of it. Sold at auction for like $3,000, and we were pretty stoked. And
That was excellent.
It was geared really tall too. I remember that we had to special order a rear sprocket for it, and it was super big.
It was huge, but it looked cool.
And it would do a good burnout.
Yeah, it reminded me of like a speedway bike, like a Jawa speedway bike.
Yeah.
Because they have those big sprockets on them.
Yeah. Learned about trail on the motorcycle. I didn't really know what trail was, and that thing had such a huge rake on it. Like, it would take, like, a huge circle to turn that thing.
And it was super finicky. Like, if you were going on a straight line, you had to be, like...
The wheel would flop.
It would want to fall over.
Yeah, it had the chopper flop.
Yeah,
that's a real thing.
flop,
Yeah. That's my dad's brother, Ed, Uncle Ed. He had a really wild chopper back in the day that I've seen in the family albums with a big stacker rear seat and a huge sissy bar. And Dad said he rode it one time and the chopper flop was so bad on it he never rode it again. Yeah, he's like, it just wanted to turn at all times. Yeah. And then I'm like you guys, I got older, not got older, but after building the first one, I figured out that's a real thing. And they will flop, and then you figure out how to counteract that. Yeah. The Cow 90 I built, that wasn't extreme, but the big long chopper I built that Mike Whitney had, I ended up putting at the bottom of the forks, instead of putting the axle through right there, I built like a little foot up about 3 inches to like place the front wheel 2.5 inches in front of the fork. So that helps the fork stay anchored behind the wheel, basically. And think about an old Schwinn bicycle when the forks go down and they fold forward.
Yep.
That helps. That's for a reason.
Oh, okay.
That makes the wheel want to stay in the front as opposed to just flop.
Yeah.
So
I remember seeing a bunch of old choppers back in the days. If you had a real long front end, it would have like these candy canes on the end.
That's it.
That's
Yeah.
what you're talking about?
They look like the you call them candy canes, but we always called them genie shoes, like the crazy shoes that genies wore. They like a big samurai sword looking thing. And then Detroit Randy.
Yeah.
He told me about Sugar, a black chopper builder named Sugar Bear. Yeah. He was known because his choppers never had the flop. They were the best handling, steering. That's why Sugar Bear's famous. Numerous reasons he's famous, but his main claim to fame was his choppers rode so much better than any other chopper on the road. Okay. And he had the geometry right. And next time you see Randy, ask him about that. I will, yeah. Because Randy's always can give you such good history on stuff like that.
The front, did they have that candy cane on the front of those? Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember, because they'd be on the front of Easy Rider, and they had those big candy cane front end, right out in front of the camera. That's cool. That's the kind of stuff you learn. And now we're back to that, what you guys learned building those choppers helps you.
Oh, for sure.
And daily. Mm-hmm. Man, that's awesome, guys. So, now, you guys are driving your stuff out to California. Mm-hmm. What's your favorite show you've been to? Is it Hot Rod Reunion or California?
Oh, Hot Rod Reunion's good, yeah.
Have you guys been to every Hot Rod Reunion?
We missed a couple.
Yeah.
I was on a good roll, and then I quit going.
Yeah. We went to the first one, I know.
We missed one year because we went out to the LA Roadster show.
Yeah. And then I was in California working at Hot Wheels, so I missed a couple that summer. You were at Short Panies, so.
Yep.
But I like that show. That show's killer.
It is.
And it's, you know what, the coolest thing is not, honestly, the shows, it's the trip to the shows. So when we went and did the trip to Colorado in our Roadster, the show was killer. The Hot Rod Hill Climb is absolutely killer. But the funnest part was there was like 6 or 7 of us in Hot Rods, us and Mike Whitney and Henry Richards and Nathan Stewart. And just the shenanigans on the way out.
You guys were camping out and sleeping on the ground, weren't you? A couple times?
Camped every single night.
That is excellent.
We got out there, started at the base of the mountains, and it was 80 degrees. Started driving up, got up to like 11,000 feet, and it was starting to get pretty cold, 40 degrees. Went to bed, woke up the next morning, and we were just shivering, and there was ice on all of our windows. It was 32 degrees. So
that's good. You're exactly right. The drive and the trips out are worth it.
And the old mine roads at that event too was awesome. There's a handful of old dirt mine roads that you can drive up, and we went up a couple, and
just gravel roads, and then all of a sudden on the side of the road it just drops off.
How in the hell did Mike Whitney survive that?
Oh, him and Henry were driving the roads just like 410 sprint cars.
Yep, I've seen that in action. Oh, that's awesome, man, guys. Thank you. Thanks for coming out. I want to have you guys out again and follow up with your hot rod build. And then, you guys are going to be at Lawrenceburg this Saturday night?
Yeah. Gonna try.
Are you going down for the shenanigans beforehand?
Yep, Shenanigans Bowls. We're going to Marcus' place, yeah.
I heard that. I'm going to try to make it. We'll see. Cool. I've got to be in Cincinnati working a couple days, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to stay for the race or if I got to come home and go back or what, but we'll figure it out. It don't matter. All that will happen by the time this goes out.
Saturday at noon.
Very good. Guys, thank you. Thanks so much.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, this is awesome.
You bet. Thank you.